that are where civilians are essentially getting in the line of fire. I think the world will support it, the European powers, the UN will support it, but I think that the devil is in the details here. What kind of an exit plan is he offering? For example, yesterday we heard that he wanted to convene the People's Congress at this moment, where he would announce his plan. This was, again, one of those feelers. How can you hold the People's Congress if 75% of the country is essentially beyond your control? He also spoke about the interests of his children, particularly his sons, their need to safeguard their assets, their lives. One important note here, and I think that may not necessarily go down with his loyalists, all the offers that were reported yesterday did not mention any of his commanders, any of his hardcore loyalists. That should send a very, very ominous message to them that in case there is an exit plan that Gaddafi is willing to negotiate, they are not part of this plan.
All right.
And that could weaken their ranks.
All right, well, we'll certainly keep an eye on developments on that exit plan and bring it to our viewers. Of course, Tariq Youssef, thank you very much for that. Moving on to other news, and in Pakistan, a car bomb outside a gas station has left dozens dead and injured. The explosion happened in the eastern city of Faisalabad in a neighborhood full of government buildings. Many people are still, in fact, trapped under the rubble there. And Kamal Haidar is live for us in Islamabad to give us the details on what's going on there. Kamal, first of all, any news on the death toll now?
Well, authorities are now reporting that at least 20 people have been killed. That likely to go up because many people are still trapped under the rubble. Rescue operations are still underway. Earlier, there was some confusion as to whether this was just an accident at that gas station or whether this was an act where a bomb was planted. Later, the police did confirm that this was a powerful device which was planted in a car, and that car was parked right next to the huge cylinders at that gas station. As soon as the car blew up, it set off an even bigger explosion because of those huge cylinders, bringing down, causing a lot of damage to buildings adjacent to it, one airline office, another courier office, where people normally queue up to receive their passports and visas.
Kamal, has anyone claimed responsibility yet for this attack?
So far, there has been no claim of responsibility. It does normally take a few hours for someone to take responsibility, as we've seen in the past, but so far, no responsibility taken by anybody yet.
All right, Kamal, thank you very much for that. Well, the Afghan president, Hamid Karzai, has reportedly suffered a setback to his plan to disband private security firms by the end of this year. According to Britain's Guardian newspaper, 11 companies will be granted favored status following pressure from Western governments. These include Z Services, formerly known as Blackwater, which is banned in Iraq. The firm has also been linked to controversial shooting incidents in Afghanistan. Some 30,000 mercenaries are believed to be employed across Afghanistan. Former Iranian President Akbar Hashemi Rafsanjani has lost his position as head of a state clerical body. Rafsanjani is accused of being too close to the reformist opposition. He chaired the Assembly of Experts since 2007. The assembly is charged with electing and supervising the country's supreme leader. Well, Egyptian steel tycoon and politician Ahmed Izz is due in court for a corruption trial. Izz is a leading member of the NDP party that was led by Hosni Mubarak. He's alleged to have illegally made millions from cornering Egypt's steel market. Ayman Muhyiddin reports.
From modest beginnings to one of Egypt's wealthiest tycoons, Ahmed Izz, now facing trial for corruption, moved up the political ladder at the same dizzying pace as he made his personal fortune. When the Egyptian economy shifted from state-controlled industries to privatized ones in the early 90s, Izz founded what would become Egypt's largest steel company. A wealthy businessman, a member of parliament, and a senior party politician, Izz came to symbolize what many Egyptians despised in the Mubarak era, the intersection of money, politics, and power. During his meteoric political and economic rise, Izz made powerful friends, none more notable than Gamal Mubarak, the former president's youngest son. It was their close personal relationship that cast a shadow on Izz's business dealings and led many to believe that wealth and power in Egypt went hand in a vicious cycle of favoritism, corruption, and greed. After establishing himself as a loyal Mubarak and party confidant, Izz was tasked with developing the National Democratic Party's 2010 strategy in parliamentary elections that were widely marred with fraud, violence, and intimidation. But despite the criticism, Izz arrogantly boasted about the victory he helped mastermind that essentially saw all legitimate political opposition removed from parliament. Ahmed Izz was one of the most hated personalities of the Mubarak regime, and as it started to crumble, he attempted to fend off the mounting criticism.
There is no partnership with anyone in anything. The truth about this industrial group is that all my companies are registered in the stock market. I have no other work except Industrial Group, which more than 90% of its activity is in steel manufacturing. So any talk about partnership or profits has no basis of truth.
It proved a futile attempt. Ahmed Izz became the first businessman turned politician to face corruption charges. Many Egyptians are hoping he won't be the last. Ayman Muhyiddin, AlJazeera, Cairo.
Well, Tuesday is International Women's Day, and coming up on Al Jazeera, we'll tell you how the day is being marked around the world. We'll also meet a software engineer from China who's going head-to-head with search engine Google. And Mexico's saint of death. As the drug-related violence continues, many people are looking towards spirituality for comfort.
Welcome back to International Weather Forecast. First of all, starting with Australia, we have seen quite a bit of rain shower activity for the northern part of Australia, and that's still going to continue over the next couple of days, unfortunately. If you take a look at the forecast map, we are looking at rain shower totals in this region, anywhere from 100 to 150 millimeters of rain over the next 48 hours, and this is really not going to change. We've also been having some severe weather from Monday night into Tuesday morning. You can see right here, there's a frontal boundary pushing through, so South Australia, that northeastern part of South Australia, has been causing quite a few problems. Actually, they brought some very heavy rain showers through Adelaide on Monday evening. Actually, they saw more rain shower activity in 24 hours than they did in a whole month, what they would normally see in a whole month's worth of activity. Those temperatures are going to cool for Adelaide about 25 degrees, but very warm ahead of that front. We can see we're looking at Sydney about 28 and Brisbane also about 28 degrees for you. Well, up towards India, the subcontinent, not a lot to talk about in terms of clouds. Very clear conditions all the way from the north and down towards the south. Those temperatures, though, are going to be quite warm. The temperatures are going to be anywhere from the low 30s to the high 30s. As you can see here, we are looking at Nagpur at 37, and Chennai is looking about 35 degrees, with Colombo seeing at 33. So those temperatures quite warm till tomorrow.
A debilitating condition afflicting millions of women across the developing world.
Sometimes it is not possible to cure